So now let's set the amplitude, volts per division. I come to the vertical section where it's amplitude, and I turn the dial, or access it by touch. Remember, they are touch screens. So I activate channel 1 here, and I'm going to set 1 volt per division. And there it is. So the amplitude, we will start from a principle of 1V per division. And now let's check the horizontal H, which is here. It's at 2 microseconds. The horizontal section here is. We're going to work with 10 microseconds as a starting point. And here it is, 10 microseconds. Okay. Now let's check the channel 1 menu. So I'll quickly click on the channel 1 menu here. I'll have the menu configuration there. Let's go to the proof now. Digital multiplication factor, times 1. So it should always be in times 1. In the DHO series, it will always start with times 1. So there is no problem with older models that come with attenuation times 10. So you don't need to change it here. It is already times 1. And now let's go. Coupling. Coupling 90% of the cases, DC coupling. So it is already programmed. Digital attenuation probe times 1 DC coupling very well now. Since we have already checked the coupling and attenuation, let's go to the beam. If I am using only the channel of the same rule that we talked about, the channel always closes at the 0 point in the abscissa and ordinate. And now let's go to the trigger session here. I have the trigger session if I am working with logical signals. Of 1.2 volts, I will turn the trigger button, the trigger Colombo, set it close to 1 volt, 1.2 volt logic signal. If I work with 1.8 logic signals, I will set it close to 1.6 volts. So when it gets close to 1.6 volts, here we can check the voltage, trigger, and freeze the image on the screen so we can analyze the image. So the trigger will be configured according to what I am working on. Of course, this here is a starting point. It is a 0 mark, where you will from here configure, adjust the volts per division, adjust the time, adjust the trigger. Basically, you have an initial starting point. This is the basic configuration that you will work with our DHO 800 and 900. Of course, for those who work with smartphones and notebooks, this is the 0 starting point, the 0 starting point for measurement. You can activate the other channels and repeat the same configuration. And observe the distance of the beam. So when you are going to use more than one channel, this configuration also has to be repeated on the other channels. And you will follow this